Hello everyone, welcome to MATLAB programming course. I'm Hossein Totunchi and today we're going to continue with differentiation. In this video, I'm going to use the inline function to create a new function and then take derivative of that. So let's call it, first we put sims of x and then we call it f equals inline of let's go with sine of x plus 2 times cosine of x. And then what are the variables is going to be x. We learned that. And the new function is called f of x equals sine of x plus 2 cosine of x. Now let's try to take the differentiation of what's the function? It's going to be f of x and x. We learned that we can take the derivative of f of x like that, the first derivation, and the MATLAB is going to calculate that easily. And let me show you something very, very important. Let me redo the calculation, the last calculation again. So I'm going to make a name for it. Let's say I call it like f1. I call it function 1 equals. So it is exactly the same thing, but I just made a name for it. So then I hit enter and now f1 function is like that. Now let's try to pass a value to it. So I'm going to know what's the value of f1 of 4. Okay, so if I do that, you see that you receive an error. And you might be thinking, what happened? I take the derivative like that and the derivative works, but why I can't do it? Please keep in mind that the only way we can pass a parameter into a function and calculates it is that MATLAB must know that function, must recognize that function and not just an expression, because right now f1 is just an expression. It's not a living thing. There is no functionality to f. It's just an expression that the value you're searching for is cosine of x minus 2 sine of x, but we're not able to evaluate the expression. Therefore, the solution will be defining the new differentiation result into an inline function as well. So let me clear the screen and show it to you how we're going to do that. As we remember, we defined the function f like that. And we're going to calculate the derivative and make a name for it so we can pass parameters and calculate the results. I call it derivative. Derivative equals inline. Inline was the way that we could define a new function which is able to receive parameters. So this way I call it differentiation of f of x and x. And then what is the variable? It's going to be x. So I define a new function called the derivative. And if you pay close attention, I didn't put this part into single quotation. The reason was that we put this part into single quotation when we are defining a new function. But the result of this expression, this internal expression itself is a function. So there is no point to define a function when it is already a function. I hope that I could make sense in that. So then we calculate the derivative of x, which is cosine of x minus sine of x. Now we're able to pass values to it and get the result like that. -1. And you can do whatever you like. You can just pass the parameters and it's going to calculate the result. So in order to do a fast recap, in this video, we learn how to take the derivative, how we define the new function, and if we need to calculate the value of the derivative at some specific point, then we need to convert the derivation into a real function and not just expression. That was really the important thing in this video. Thank you and see you in the next video.